Hello everyone, Jacquie Edwards here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are talking about what happens next. You've signed your first rent-to-rent deal. Awesome. Now what happens? And it's not panic. Oh no. It's awesome. First of all, I want you to celebrate because this is just such a huge milestone. This is what you've been working towards. Just imagine back when you first started and you were doing all those viewings and you were feeling like super stupid and awkward and you were messing up and making mistakes all over the place and you were dreaming of this moment. That moment when you would sign your first rent-to-rent deal. So many of us just like skip over this and just move on to, okay, what's next? What next? I gotta hurry up and build my business. Take a minute and just celebrate. Even if it's just a quick, oh my God, thank you so much. I'm awesome. Woohoo. And then move on. All right. So once you finish celebrating, now I want you to put that contract in a safe place. Most of my landlords were still signing kind of like wet ink, so paper contracts. You need to put that contract somewhere safe. I recommend scanning it so it's also in the cloud and then putting that contract somewhere safe. I didn't follow this advice, and I'll admit there were a few contracts that I might have misplaced. Now, luckily, there was no problem with this. I had no issues with the landlord, and I didn't ever need to look at those contracts again. But it's for your safety and security that you've got this contract in place, so you want to make sure you keep a copy of it. So this is a great time if you're not so great at paperwork and keeping things organized to get started. So keep that contract in a safe place. All right, once you've got that admin out of the way, now it's time to make a plan. Now, depending on, when you pick up the keys for this property, you'll have, more time or less time, but you'll still have to do the same kind of amount of things. So the very first thing you need to do is you need to set aside at least an hour to just do a massive brain dump of everything you need to do to get this property ready so that tenants can move in. Now that's absolutely everything. So don't hold yourself back here. Don't try to organize it at this point. Just get some paper, or you can do it on your computer if you want, but there's really something about writing it with paper. So sit down and just spend at least an hour writing absolutely everything you can think of down. Now ideally you'll be able to go back and have maybe another look at the house, and you can start making a little bit of a list then so that you can kind of be there and just see everything with kind of fresh eyes, knowing you're going to be for sure taking this property on. Otherwise, you should be able to kind of look at your notes from, when you did your viewing originally. So sit down, make this list, absolutely everything. When you kind of run out of things, then you tell you, okay, is there anything else? And give yourself kind of 5 minutes, and there will be other things that you'll think of. So make sure you give yourself the space and the time to do this. Planning is everything. A lot of people think, oh God, this is a little bit of a waste of time. Why don't I just, get started and jump in and start doing the things I need to do? I know I need to do stuff. And it's almost like if you're going to prepare a meal, you've kind of got two options. So say you're going to cook a big roast dinner and your family is coming over. You could just get started, start cooking, just throw things together. Then all of a sudden you realize, oh, I'm missing these 3 ingredients. I better run to the shop. And now I'm cooking this and preparing this. And then I'll throw this in the oven. And you get to the end and yeah, you've got this great dinner. But, some plates are a little bit cold and some dishes, they're not quite the right temperature. They've all kind of come out at different times because nothing was properly planned. Or you could sit down and make a plan. You could say, how long does everything take to cook? What time do I need to put everything in the oven at? Take a stock. Do I have all the ingredients I need? Make one trip to the shop to get all of the ingredients you need. Prep, chop everything up, have everything laid out and ready, and then start cooking things in the order that you've already put them out in so that when everything's done, it's all going to be at the right temperature to be served, and you can pop it out at the table and everything's going to be lovely and ready. So that's what I want you to do for your business. I want you to make sure you're planned and prepared so everything is done properly, so that you're not running around after the tenants moved in and they're saying, oh, there's no forks, or, oh, there's no bins in the bathroom. Why aren't there any? And every day you're coming back and forth to get stuff that you've forgotten. That's not the most efficient way to do things. So take this time to make a plan. Now, once you've made that plan and you've asked yourself what else, and you've given yourself 5 minutes and you've not come up with anything else, awesome. Now it's time to organize that list. So you've got your to-do list, let's organize it. Now, I want you to put it in order of kind of what needs to happen first, maybe what's most important. If there's things so maybe you need to you need to put a shelf up before you can paint it, that type of thing. So make sure everything's in the right order so that you can, do it at the right time, because you don't want to hire the decorator to come and paint if first you have to hire the plumber to, put the bathroom together. You'll get things in the wrong order. And speaking of having other people to help you, if you're not going to be doing everything and somebody else is going to be helping, I recommend splitting out your kind of lists by person. So you would have maybe a list for your handyman. And again, put that in priority order and time order of what needs to be done first, second, third, etc. And maybe you'll have a list for a plumber and an electrician. Or maybe you have a business partner, so you'll have a list for them and a list for you. And then on your list, you're going to want to have an action that says, explain what needs to be done to the plumber. Review the plumber's work. Pay the plumber. Give the handyman his list, review his work, check up on the handyman, that type of thing. So you need to make sure you've got everything absolutely organized, and everything is included, down to like, I need to buy forks and knives. I need to buy a pillow for that sofa. I need to buy the sofa. So have everything there, have it now in order so you know what's most important, what needs to get done first, what needs to get done after that's done, and what kind of builds on other things. Now, once you've got those lists all organized, now it's time to put everything into your diary. I love to use Google Calendar because, it's online. I have it on my phone. I have it on my computer. So everywhere I am, I can see exactly what I need to be doing and where I need to be. And I can also color code things. It's super fun. So that's what I do. But if you use a paper diary, that is completely fine as well. But now it's time to schedule everything in. Now, this is probably going to take a little bit longer. So I'd leave, again, at least an hour, probably 2 hours to get this all scheduled into your diary. So you want to make sure that everything fits in. And again, you'll know what needs to happen first. So you'll know what needs to happen this week and what needs to happen next week. And you'll just schedule everything in to where it goes. So you'll always know that you're getting everything done because it's in your diary. At the end of this exercise, you're going to be able to wrinkle up that piece of paper, your to-do list that you've written everything down on, and throw it in the bin, because you'll know everything is going to get done because you've scheduled it into your diary. So you won't have to think about your to-do list anymore. You won't have to worry about forgetting anything or missing anything. It's all scheduled into your diary. Then you just have to follow your diary. Now, the trick here is to not be overambitious in your diary planning. So for instance, don't put 30 minutes to, buy those pillows for the sofa if it takes you 30 minutes to get to the store and back. You're going to have to, properly plan the time and give yourself enough time to get everything done, because there's nothing worse than like rushing around, being stressed out, and falling behind on your schedule, and then having to cut things out because you didn't have time for that, you didn't plan it properly, and then all of a sudden you start missing things because you didn't have the timing right. So give yourself enough time. If this is the first time that you've done everything, it's going to take you longer. So give yourself more time, give yourself that space. Now I know you might be picking up the keys super fast to this property, and you might need to get things done, and you might feel really under pressure to get things done. And that's when you need to be even more organized and make sure that you've kind of planned it in the most efficient way possible. So make sure you're not taking like 15 trips back and forth to the shop. Make sure you've got one trip, maybe you go to 3 different shops, you pick up everything you need, and then come back. And do that all at one time, because that's going to save you versus driving back and forth every single day to pick up a few more bits and pieces here and there. So take the time and really, really do this. So that way when the tenants move in, you can breathe that big sigh of relief and you can move on to the next project because you know you've got everything done here. So I've started doing this just even with my normal tasks weekly, and it's amazing. It's freed up so much time. It's freed up so much headspace. It's made my life 100 times easier, and this will make your first rent-to-rent deal 100 times easier as well. So, summary. Make sure you've got that contract stored somewhere safe and you've scanned it into the cloud. Make sure, first, make sure you've celebrated. Then sort out your contract, make sure it's stored safely, and then put your plan together. Do a brain dump of everything you need to do. Put that brain dump in order of what needs to get done first and what's the priority. And then add everything to your diary of when you're going to do it and make sure the timing is realistic. And then you will have your very first rent-to-rent deal up and running. So hopefully you found that helpful. I know it makes a massive difference in my life and I wanted to share it with you. And As always, I will see you in the next video.